Hi everyone, we're Elle and Rebecca and we're from Creative Minds, and welcome to our session.
So here today to talk about a little bit more about mental health and emotional resilience. I'm Rebecca and I used to be a teacher and I have two children, two young daughters, and I also live near Norwich. A bit about me.
And I'm Elle. I have three children. I also used to be a teacher and I live in Manchester.
So today's session, we want it to be relaxing. We want it to be grab yourself a piece of paper, a notepad, a pen, and just make yourself comfortable. There's going to be some activities that you have to take part in, writing things you're going to have to think about, things you're going to have to get up and do. So just make yourself comfy. So today we're going to talk about our emotions. We're going to talk about our friendships, and hopefully you'll feel better about going back to school next week.
Yeah, and it is really important that you do write these things down as we go, and so you have something to take back into school next week.
We'll tell you when to pause and when to do things, so don't worry. We'll give you time to do things, do all the activities. Okay, on we go. So first thing we want to do is we want to think about how we have felt during lockdown. Okay, how has lockdown been for you? And through that time, we'll have had so many different emotions. We've just given you some examples here. So a mixture of being positive emotions and negative emotions. So you might have felt really angry about what's happening and, not being able to go out, not being able to do things. You might have felt really lonely at times. Maybe you don't have any siblings, or you haven't been able to see your friends, or you haven't been able to see all the people that you love every single day. Bored, really bored, not being able to go out and about. But you also might have felt really happy. You might have felt okay about it all. You might have felt quite relaxed about it. You might have been able to spend time with your family that you don't normally get. So we want you to take a moment just to have a little think about how you felt during lockdown. So this is a moment where in a minute you can pause the video, and we want you to create what we've created. So it's called a mind map. So on your piece of paper, we want you to write in the middle lockdown feelings, and around the edge we would like you to write down as many emotions or feelings or thoughts or whatever is in your head about your time for lockdown. Okay, so pause the video and give that a go. Okay, so what we'd like you to do is we would like you to choose one or two of those emotions that you've written down. Okay, so have a little think, have a little look at your diagram and choose which ones that you'd like to focus on. So we focused on two. We focused on that we were lonely. That's a main emotion for us, that we felt very, very lonely. We couldn't, although we've got people around us and we've got our family, and for me, I've got my two children and my husband, sometimes I felt quite lonely that I couldn't see my friends, I couldn't see my family. So lonely was definitely an emotion that I felt.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Rebecca. I felt lonely at times. I missed my grandparents, I missed my cousins, and especially my friends, very close with my friends. And it's been really sad not being able to see them. Obviously, we've spoken on the phone, but seeing someone face to face is definitely, more important. But on the other hand, I felt quite relaxed. I didn't have plans in my diary that I had to adhere to. I wasn't rushing around. I was able to have certain lines because I didn't have to do the school run, as I'm sure you guys feel as well. So yeah, I felt quite relaxed.
And especially when the weather's been really nice, it's been nice to spend, I'm lucky enough to have a bit of garden, being able to spend a bit of time out in the garden, or go to go and have a walk, and just take my time with my family without that rushing around, constantly having to be somewhere. So it's
I think it's that we all took kind of like a step back and a pause. It was like life was paused and we could all enjoy what was around us, which usually we don't do because we're so busy.
But it's also right to have, to have those negative feelings as well as those positive feelings. And we all have felt a mixed, like a roller coaster, all throughout the time of how we felt. So it's just putting that down on paper makes us have a little bit more of a think about it. So what we also need to think about is how we've coped with these emotions. So they will have done certain things. So there'll been certain things that we felt about how we coped. So if we were feeling frustrated, or angry or sad or lonely or happy or whatever it was, there are certain things that we would have done during lockdown to help us with that. And we were quite limited in what we could do. So it might have been just having a bit of fresh air, going for a walk around the block. And that actually would have made us feel better. It might have been reading a book, taking a moment out of the day to read a book. It might have been talking to a friend on the phone, or a lot of people have been doing Zoom and Skype and all these kind of things. So actually talking to a friend, going for a run, maybe if that's something that you like doing, watching some TV, maybe having a bath halfway through the day, or just taking a bit of time to spend a bit of time on your own. So just have a little think about what it is that you did.
Yeah, and I think it's because we were very limited that we did things we wouldn't usually do. So I know my daughter didn't really like going for walks before, whereas it was her only option. So now she's took up going for walks, and she actually really enjoys getting out there in the fresh air. I know lots of people have started watching Netflix box sets, also, Zoom calling relatives, elderly grandparents, trying to get them to use technology. So it's kind of took everyone out of their comfort zone and helped them cope with certain emotions.
Definitely. So again, just have a pause the video, and just have a little think about what you have done. What things have you done just to help you with those emotions? And if you can, just thinking about them, but if you want to write them down, just to remind yourself, write them down. So just take a few minutes to do that. Okay, great. So we all want to feel safe and secure. So those things we've just talked about are things that we did in our day to make ourselves feel a bit frustrated or less angry or whatever it was that we were feeling. We also want to enable ourselves to feel safe. So what we tend to do is we surround ourselves with things that comfort us. So it might be a piece of music, it might be an object, it might be a photograph, it might be a cuddly toy, a book, all sorts. And we've sort of written some ideas down there. So what we'd like you to do is we're going to play you our comforter piece of music. Okay, so while that's playing, we're not going to pause this time, but while that's playing, we'd like you to either write down what your comforter might be. It might also be a piece of music, or it might be an object. Or if it's close to hand, or you can see it, or you can easily go and get it, go and collect it, go and pick it up and go and bring it back and have it in front of you and hold it and just have a little look at it and think about what it is. Okay, so we're going to play some music now. And while that music is playing, go and think about and find your comforter that makes you feel safe. Okay. So hopefully by now you'll have got your comforter, whatever it might be. So as well as that piece of music, a comforter that I've got is this blanket. So this is the baby blanket from my first daughter. So I love this blanket because it always reminds me of when she was little. So that's mine, and I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to have it for using in a moment. Elle, what have you got?
My comforter is my favourite bath. stress therapy, it's called.
Oh, lovely.
I love the smell. And actually, when I was pregnant with all my children, I used this because the smell really relaxed me, and I just love getting a bath and escaping and relaxing.
Brilliant, lovely. Sounds great. So go and get it. So hopefully you've gone to get what you've got and brought it back. So what we're going to think about is how we're being mindful. So Al, do you want to?
Yeah. So being mindful is about being in the here and now. So as we said before, the rushing around and always being busy, sometimes we forget how to be mindful, and it's all about focusing on the present, so the here and now. And that's what a comforter can do. So what we'd like you to do is get your comforter and answer the following questions. Write it down. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? As I'm sure you've recognised, they are your 5 senses. Now, your comforter might not answer all those questions. For example, I wouldn't really like to taste this. However, you might be able to answer some of them. So, Rebecca, would you like to answer some about yours?
Yeah. So what does it look like? So it's a brightly coloured, stripy blanket. And it's really bold, bright colours, and I just love it. And it's made of lovely soft wool. So it smells nice and clean. It reminds me of my children when they were younger. Sound doesn't really sound anything, so can't really answer that one. It's lovely and soft, and it's really nice to cuddle up to, and makes me feel, all comforted and warm. And again, taste. I'm not gonna taste it, but yeah. So it just reminds me of a happy time. Yours?
Yeah, mine. So what does it look like? Well, it's an aqua colour. And actually for me, it already looks relaxing because it's thick and it's liquid, and I can't wait to actually pour it and watch it pour. It smells delicious. It smells like rosemary and eucalyptus, which obviously really relaxes you. Sound it doesn't have a sound, but I suppose when you're pouring it, it has a sound, which again relaxes me. It creates bubbles, so the bubbles feel soft, and yeah, I wouldn't taste it, but yeah, that's my comforter. So the tip for this slide is really take time out to stop and be mindful of the present by using all your senses. So you might have it times when things crop up or you're feeling a certain way, so just take time out, stop, and just be in the present.
So yeah, so that's really important. So if you haven't done already, pause the video and just do what we've just done. Have a little moment just to look at your object, or if it's a piece of music, sit there and listen to your piece of music and see if you can answer all of those things. If you want to write them down, write them down. If you just want to think about them in your head, that's fine. So what does it look like? What does it sound like? Smell? Everything's associated with things. So what does it make? What images do you create in your mind? What do you picture? What happy occasion? Why is it such a nice thing to have around? Why does it make you feel happy, safe, and secure? So pause the video and just take 5 minutes, take as long as you need just to think about those things, and you're being mindful to your senses. Okay. So hopefully you're feeling nice and safe and secure. You've got your comforter near you. You've listened to that piece of music. Excuse me. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to think about the relationships that we have. So on a daily basis, we have relationships with a range of different people. Lockdown has limited the contact that we have with important people in our lives. So for most of us, we have mainly been seeing over the last couple of months the people that we live with. So for most of us, it's probably parents, carers, whoever the people are that look after us. It might be that we've got siblings or step brothers and sisters. We might live with our grandparents, whoever it is. So the red ones at the top, if you can see the table, are the people that we see regularly. Those are the people that we've been seeing during lockdown. So for us, it's for most of it to be parents and carers. siblings. For me, it would be my children and my husband. So for all, just having a little think of who those people are. Underneath, you've got the blue section. The blue, those are people who are important in our lives, but we have had limited contact with them. We haven't been able to see them, but they're important. So any extended family. So for me, it would be my parents, it would be my brothers, my nieces and my nephew, and also my friends. Those are people that I would normally see regularly, and I just haven't been able to see them. What about you, Elle?
Yeah, exactly the same. I've seen my children and my partner very regularly. I've really missed my grandparents and my friends. So they would be my 4 sets of people.
So underneath, we've written lots and lots of different words and sayings and things that you would say. And have a little time, just take a little moment just to read some of them. I'll read some of them out. So I love you, it's not fair, I feel lonely, I don't want to, this is brilliant, can I watch that, please, all sorts of different words. And what we want you to do is we want you to have a little think about these words and who you might say them to. So I'm just going to go to the next slide. So if you can see, they won't all fit to all people. So I've added that if I was living with my mum and dad and they were the people that I was seeing on a regular basis, I might say some of these. I might say, I love you. You might say, it's not fair. I can't do something. I'm not allowed to. Oh, this is too hard. This work that I've been set from school, I can't do it. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I know my children have said that a lot. Your siblings, if those are somebody that you've been, great, we're having a lovely time, or leave me alone. There's going to be a real roller coaster of emotions and the things that you say. It also might be in the next column down, the blue ones, things that you haven't said to some of your extended family or your friends or the people you've not seen. What have you not said for quite a while? So what we'd like you to do is, again, after we've explained it, pause the video so you've got time to actually do it. We'd like you to create this. So draw on your page 4 boxes, and the red ones, who are the people that you've seen the most? Who are the people that you're living with? Okay. Or at what group? It might be a group of people, or it might be an actual person. So it might be, your parents, or it might be just your mum, your dad, whoever. And then underneath, again, groups of people or an actual person of who you haven't seen and who you'd like to see. Go back so you can have a look at some of those words.
Now, these words are obviously examples that we've given. Use your own as well. What types of things do you say often to your people who you live with, who you see all the time? You've probably come up with something that you say regularly now. And then also, what would you like to say, or what do you say to the people that you haven't seen for a while?
So again, pause the video so that you've got 5 minutes or so just to get this done, get it written down, and have a real think about what you would like to say to people. Okay.
Fill in that box.
Okay. What we'd like you to do now that you've had a little chance to have a little think about the relationships and your feelings and your emotions, what we're going to do now is we'd like you to go and take a break. So we'd like you to pause the video and we'd like you to take a good 15-minute break. So like you would do it normally at school, or if you're doing your work, you're homeschooling, you need to get up. We'll do the same. We're going to get up, we're going to go and have a drink, go and have a bit of fresh air, go to the loo, whatever it is you need to do. A good 15-minute break. So pause the video and we will see you back here in a minute. Okay, so I'm hoping that you've all had a nice break. You've had, a drink of water and a bit of fresh air. You're feeling energized and ready to go. And it might be that you've taken a little bit of time just to look back through what you've created already and what you've written down. A little, think about what's coming next and what's happening next week at school.
Now, hopefully, the task we did before the break was all around people in your life. And we're going to talk about real life heroes now. So, what is a hero? What do they do? Why are they deemed a hero? So, as we know, not all heroes wear lycra, have capes and fly around saving people. So what we'd like you to do is think of somebody in your life. It could be a family member. It might be a friend, perhaps a celebrity or a musician. and I want you to think about why they're your hero.
So for an example, mine would be my mum. She's somebody who I see, I see regularly, or at the moment I haven't been able to see much of. But she's my hero because she is a strong person. She's always really determined. She's very selfless. She does all sorts of things for other people. She's thoughtful, she's helpful, and she'll always come to my rescue whenever I need her. So for me, it's my mum. Okay, so I've chosen the person and I've said why. What is it they do? She's loving, she's helpful. Elle, have you got somebody?
Yeah, mine would be my granddad. Again, I've not seen him. Well, I've not seen him since last March. I'm really missing him. We've spoken a lot on the phone. He was 90 during the lockdown as well. He is, obviously, he's been through the World War, so he's an actual hero. But he's happy. He's always kind. He's so cheery. He's just a lovely person to be around, and he's full of advice and help, and his stories are incredible, and I could just spend all my time with him. So yeah, that's why he's my hero.
Brilliant. So have a little think. So, it doesn't have to be somebody, and Elle and I have both said somebody in our family. It doesn't have to be somebody in your family. It could be somebody in, a celebrity that you like to follow on social media, or, a musician or a band or somebody like that who you just think is so inspirational. And just means a lot to you and is a big part of your life. So again, spend a minute or so, pause the video if you need to, even if you needed to go and look around, go and look on, it might be go and look on your music collection, go and go and have a look around. What books have you got lying around? Have a little think, take a moment just to have a little moment to think about them. So what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to give them an award. Okay, we want you to really think about why. Why is that person your hero? What have they done for you in your life, or why have they inspired you to be the person that you are today? So we've just got a little example. You could create a certificate for them. You could give them an award. So you could create something like this: Hero Award presented to my mum for being helpful, thoughtful, kind, and loving. Okay. We've also got a couple of other examples. What else could
Yeah, sorry. So it was actually creating this that's made me step back and think, actually, I've never really thought about who my hero is. It made me recognize my granddad, and now I want to write him a letter. I want to let him know why he's my hero. It could be you send that person a text explaining why. It could be you give them a present. And if it is somebody perhaps who's a celebrity you can't reach, just write about it. What would, if you had the opportunity, perhaps you were giving them an award at a ceremony, what would you give them and what would you say?
Yeah. So again, we'd like you to pause. And at this time, we'd like you to give yourself a good 5-10 minutes to do this. And I want you to really think about them. Think about why they're your hero. What have they done? Okay. And like we said, it could be a certificate, a letter, a text. It could be writing a note to them, thinking about if you were buying them a present, what would you give them? Just spend 5 minutes, pause the video, draw it out like we've done. You could draw out your certificate, you could write out your letter, spend a bit of time really, really thinking about them. Okay, brilliant. So hopefully you've got your letter, your text, whatever it is, ready to send. Now, that doesn't mean you have to send it to them, but you could do. It could be something that moving forward, you go, actually, I would like to tell my mum this. I would like to give her a certificate. I would like to give this letter that I've written. So, but again, you don't have to. It could just be there for you to keep, and it's been a really nice activity to really think about why they're your hero. Okay, so on.
Yes, I think we've done lots of listening and lots of writing. So now it's time to get up and move. So task, what we'd like you to do is get up and perform any movement for 60 seconds. And actually, it could be longer, but 60 seconds. Some examples, you could do jumping, jogging, you could do squats, or anything you can do to get your heart rate up.
So just think about the space you've got around you. Yeah, and do whatever, being silly, even if it's just waving your arms around, whatever you like, okay? Just to get ourselves energized. Okay, off you go. So what am I going to do?
Okay, I'll jump.
Okay, I'm going to, I think I'm going to run on the spot, I think. Oh. stretch as well, stretch as well. Excellent. Oh, well done, excellent. You're being very energetic. So.
Okay, so again, coming back to mindfulness. So we've all just moved around. And what I'd like you to do now is sit yourselves down, close your eyes and put your hand on your heart. And just what is happening to your body right now? What's happening to your breathing? You don't have to write anything down. Just close your eyes and think about it. Connect with your body. Think about your toes, your legs, your arms, your fingertips, your neck, and your head. And it's just about taking time out and being in the present, as we said before, and practice all your senses. So, Rebecca.
So yeah, what we'd like you to do, so now wherever you are in the room, and whatever you can see, we're just going to think about those 5 senses. We thought about them earlier when it came to our comforter, but this time we just want to think about it in general. So you can either say them out loud or you can just say them in your head. We're going to count down, so we're going to do 5, and it's going to be 5 things that you can see. So as you look around where you are, you might be able to look out a window if you're lucky enough, or you might be just looking around the space that you are. What 5 things can you see? So let's do that now. You don't have to say them out loud. Okay, next it is 4 things that you can hear. Might be really small things. Might be a car going past. Might be somebody talking. Might be the radio. Might be a bird.
A good way to heighten this sense is to close your eyes, because when your eyes are closed, your ears are stronger. So close your eyes, and what 4 things can you hear?
The next one is touch. So just sitting where you are, what 3 things can you touch? So we're down to 3. So it might be just the paper. So what does it feel? So smooth. It might be your clothes. So they might be bumpy. It might be the table. It might be wherever you are. What 3 different types of things can you touch? Then you go on to number 2. What can you smell? That might be quite tricky. Is there much to smell? Is it the lunch cooking downstairs? Is it the smell of some flowers in the room? Is it the smell of some soap that you've used? Whatever it might be. And the last one thing that you can taste. It might be the drink that you've just had or some lunch that you've just eaten. What can you taste? By doing that, it just focuses your mind on that, on the here and the now. You're not thinking about anything else. You're just thinking about what is happening to you in the present. And just doing that is a great way just to refocus. When we're all feeling these mixture of emotions, throughout the whole day, our emotions go up and down, and just taking that time just to do that and just look around you is really, really powerful and really important. So that can be used at any time you're wanting to, and that's just a little tool to take with you to use in your own time. Okay. Because we want us to think about our own strengths, our individual strengths, because we all have really positive things about ourselves. So I've just in the little top of the page, it says a few things that we might need for this activity. So if you haven't got these already, pause it and just you should have paper and you should have a pen. But if you've got a small pot or a little jar or a bowl or something that you can collect something in, just pause it and just go and get that now. Brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to read the statements that we've got on the left in blue. Okay. I am friendly. I am lovable.
Sorry.
I'm interesting. I'm important. I'm fun. I'm a winner. I am lively. I'm successful. I have good ideas. I can make good decisions. I can solve problems. I can ask questions. I'm a good listener.
So we'd like you to read all the statements, and we'd like you to select 5 that means something to you. So 5 that you think most describes you. And what we'd like you to do is write them down on a piece of paper and then rip each word up and fold them individually. We'd like you to then put them in your pot or your jar. I have a little pot here myself. It's just a little candle holder. Or you could just put them on the table in front of you. And then we'd like you to pick one out and write it down in your notes.
So pause the video, give yourself a chance to decide on 5 of those. Okay. Like we said, rip them up, put them in your jar, and then pick one of them out. So then that way you're not drawn to any, it's being chosen for you. Okay. So hopefully by now you have ripped them all up, put them in a pot, and you've chosen one. So we've done the same as well. And we've chosen, the one that we picked out was, I am a good listener. So what we'd like you to think about is the one that you've picked out, how is this positive quality going to help you when you go back to school? So we had a little think about this. So if we were going back to school, or we were going to be going back to see friends and people that we haven't seen for a long time, how is being a good listener going to help us when we go back?
And we decided that your friends were going to have a lot to share, as will you. So having a quality of being a good listener is very important. Myself and Rebecca, we're friends, and it's really nice that I'll listen to her and she will listen to me. Being a good listener is a fantastic quality to have, and it also makes people want to share with you.
So if you haven't picked out I'm a good listener, that's fine. So this is where we want you just to take a moment to think about the one that you have picked out and how it's going to help you next week when you go back. Okay. It might be something that you're not sure about at the moment, and that's fine. It might be something that you need to have, you have a little think about it and you can decide on it a bit later on. So just take a moment to think about it. Great. So we're going to have a little think about self-esteem. So for all of us, lockdown has halted a lot of our own personal hopes and dreams. Such things as hobbies or likes or loves or interests, things that we love doing. So it might be a sport. So you might not have been able to go and do the sport club that you love. So you might not have been able to go to hockey club or running club or whatever it was. You might not have been able to play the musical instrument that you love. It might be that you were part of a band or part of a group and you just can't do that at the moment. Or learning a new language or any kind of club. Or even if this interest was something that you did on your own, or it might have been part of a group or a team or within the community. We've all had to give up a lot of what makes us us. So now that things are starting to move again, we're starting to go back to school, we're starting to go out and be able to see people. It's now time to start building up these things that make us us and our hopes and our dreams. So I've just done a little example here, and we've divided it up into hopes, things that we hope that we'd be able to do, interests that we've got, and dreams that come from that. So we've just given a little example. So I like running. So I was hoping that when things start to get back to how they used to be, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to go running a couple of times a week like I used to. And my interest has always been part of a running club, and I'd like to be able to go to that regularly. So it might be that you're part of a club yourself and you want to start doing that and seeing friends and doing things again. And my dream is that I want to take part in the club events and the social events that hopefully will start coming back in. So what we'd like you to do is just take a little moment to think about what it is that you have had to stop or given up or aren't able to do at the moment.
If this is a musical instrument, or perhaps a sport, or maybe it's dancing, get up and do it. Go and get your instrument and play it. This is the time for you to think about what you've missed out on and what you're looking forward to.
It might be that you've completely forgotten that that's what you were doing. And you think, oh, actually, yes, I haven't done that thing. I haven't done painting because I just haven't felt it might be something that you really enjoy doing and you just haven't had the energy to do it, or you just couldn't, you're just building up your you know, your self-esteem to go, yes, actually, I want to do this again. So again, take a minute, have a little think. It might be that you've got quite a few things, lots of hobbies that you really can't wait to get started again. So have a little think. You don't have to necessarily write that down, but we just wanted you to think about the things that you've had to stop and how we can start building those things up again.
So friends are a really important part of our lives, and especially when you're in secondary school, friends are everything. What have you missed about not seeing your friends? So, you know, Rebecca, what have you missed about not seeing your friends?
Just chatting, you know, just chatting with them, having fun with them, going out and about, just, you know, that just everyday conversations. I think, you know, that the reasons why they're my friends is we get on so well, we have a laugh, we have a good time. And just, you know, I feel I trust them. We can talk about all sorts. It's just that relationship and that connection is what I've missed, and not being able.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
You know,
I think you choose your friends, don't you? You've chosen them for a reason. You've chosen them because they make you laugh, because they make you feel special, because they make you feel safe. And that's the reason I've missed my friends, that I've missed laughing with them. They make me laugh so much, and I've missed that. So that's what I've missed. So what have you missed about not seeing your friends?
And I think as well, it's we've been able to do bits and pieces. You know, we're so lucky that we've been able to do Zoom, and you know, we've been in. You can FaceTime people and you can chat to people on the phone. So we are lucky in that sense. But I think it's not the same, is it? It's not the same as seeing somebody in the flesh right there in front of you, going out and about with them. So I think it's exciting to know that is hopefully going to be able to happen soon. And for lots of you, you know, your friends, they might not be at school, but for some of you, they are at school. And that's where the majority of your friends are. And next week, it's exciting. It's exciting to think that you can, but that's also can be quite worrying and overwhelming, and all sorts of emotions to do with that, because you haven't seen them for so long. So we're going to play a piece of music. So we want you to sit back, and we just want you to take this time to think about your friends. So it might be that you just picture one friend in your head. It might be that you have a whole group of friends that you think about. It doesn't matter, okay? It might just be that you think about friends in general. And we want you to sit back, shut your eyes, and just think about your friends. What happy thoughts do you have about them? What images spring to mind? Okay, it might be that you want to take a moment to write these down. What emotions and words do you have that you associate with them? Okay, whatever it might be thinking, it might be writing, it might just be imagining, you know, the conversations you might have. All right.
Job's a joke you broke, your love life's the away. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you. When the rain starts to fall, I'll be there for you. Like a feeling, I'll be there for you. 'Cause you're there for me too. Still in bed at 10 and work again at 8. You burned your breakfast so far, things are going great. Your mother warned you there'd be days like these, but she didn't tell you when the world was brought down to your knees. And I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you.
Okay, great. So for me, I was thinking about times I've spent with my friends. Going to the beach is something that I like to do a lot with my friends because I live near the seaside. I'm very lucky. Going on holiday, you know, just meeting up with them, going for a walk in the park, whatever it was. It was memories from as an adult, but also memories as a child. So, you know, that some of the friends I've got, I'm still friends with now when I was at school. So it was just thinking about that, and it was really nice just to take that moment, just to think about them, and think of all the reasons why they are my friends and why we get on so well. And again, it's just giving yourself that time just to stop and think and sort of reconnect with them and think about what you're excited about seeing and doing and talking about next week. So friendship, what does friendship mean to you? So you probably had a bit of a think about it then, but what does it mean? What does friendship mean to you? What does it mean to you, Elle?
And like we spoke about then, it's somebody who you've chosen to be your friend. I mean, that friendship might have happened by you were both lonely. Maybe it was a friendship in a group where you both found each other, got lots in common. Maybe you were sitting next to each other and you just started chatting, but it's somebody that you've actually chosen to be a friend with. So friendship to me is it's kind of like a reflection on yourself, because it's someone who's quite like-minded. You might like the same things, you might find the same things funny, you might have the same interests, and you have a lot to talk about with a friend. So obviously you've got great conversation. So a friendship means to me that it's someone who's like you, who you've chosen to be a friend with.
Brilliant. So what we want to think about as well is, how are you going to be a good friend? So these friends, we might not have seen them for a while, but we're gonna be seeing lots of our friends next week at school. So how are we going to be a good friend? Okay, and take a moment if you need to pause the video. So how would we be a good friend? What things would we do? So we've got examples.
Yeah, while
with
we're
you.
thinking about this, we were also thinking of examples of how you can possibly be a good friend, or how you have been a good friend. And some examples are when your friend, it was no uniform day at school, and yet somebody forgot. Your friend forgot, so you gave them your jumper. Here, wear something of mine, because they were mortified and they were embarrassed. Or it might be that they're scared of something. So, for example, a sleepover, and they're scared, and they don't want to stay at someone else's house. They're feeling a bit awkward. So staying awake and talking to them until they fall asleep. And I've had a friend who did that with me once. I didn't want to stay out, and she talked to me until I fell asleep. So that's being a really good friend. It's about putting someone else's feelings in front of yours and putting yourself in their shoes and having that empathy for somebody else. That's a good friend.
Yeah. And somebody that you can trust, and somebody that you know is loyal to you, and you can share things with them. And likewise as well, it's like, you expect the same back. So it's somebody who would treat you as treat them as you want to be treated. So it's sort of equal. Brilliant. Next week, the entire country is going to be going back to school.
And throughout this whole session, we've spoken about, and you've wrote down ways that you've coped with emotions during lockdown. You've already proven that you can do this, that you've got strategies in place. And hopefully, as we've been taking you through, you've discovered some more tips and strategies as well.
So earlier we said, when you're at home, and your emotions were all over the place, you might have felt frustrated, angry and sad and happy. You learnt to, because you had to deal with the situation, you had to find a way of coping. And earlier we talked about what we did when we were at home. So we said that it might be going for a walk around the block, getting some fresh air, because that's what we can do. That's the situation we're in, and that's all we're allowed to do. It might be taking yourself off to another room to read a book, or to watch, your favorite Netflix series, or going and having a bath, or just talking to a friend on the phone. So those are all things that we have done. So what we need to do now is we need to think about, we can't necessarily do all of those things when we're back at school. When we go back to school, there might be a range of emotions. We've already talked about, be people that we haven't seen for a while. We're going to be maybe seeing some friends. We might be seeing some teachers. We might, seeing extended family and people that we've not been able to see. And so there'll be conversations you want to have. There'll be things that you want to talk about. But there'll also be a range of emotions that you're not sure how to deal with. You're going to be with a lot of people that you haven't been with for a long time. For the last couple of months, it's just been your family at home, and you've been able to deal with that. So it's also thinking about how you're going to deal with your emotions and ups and downs and relationships when you're back at school. So we've written down a few examples, and all these are all different for different people. So it might be that you just want to talk to one friend. You just want to, you know, it's quite overwhelming to be with lots of people. So you're just choosing one friend maybe to talk to. It might be that you try and take some time out. That might be going somewhere in the school or going to the library, going somewhere just to take a bit of time out. Okay, and that's okay to do. You might be just writing down how you're feeling. It might be when you get home that night, you write down how you felt throughout the day, maybe like a journal or a diary, just so that you can think about what's been happening throughout the day, and just taking a moment, like we've talked about all throughout, just taking a moment just to think about things, think about what's around you.
And also to think that it's okay. It's okay to feel scared, anxious, worried. That's absolutely fine. Write it down and or talk to someone. So you might talk to an adult. It might be a member of staff or a teacher that you know and you get on well with and you trust. It might be a peer, it might be a friend. Just talk to someone. And then also practice breathing. It's really important, like when we were saying before about being mindful as well. Take some time out and just breathe. Think about your breathing and get back into the present. And all worries and anxieties will start to fade away because you're bringing yourself back into the present. And hopefully you know now how to be mindful by using all your senses.
Mm. And also knowing that it's okay. Some days will be good, some days will be bad, and it's just taking each day as it comes, and being kind to yourself and not doing too much too soon. And just thinking about, and enjoying it. It's exciting. It's going to be, it's exciting time going back to school, and getting back into that routine and seeing people that you've been haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, so just coming on to this one. So we want to finish on talking about how amazing and wonderful you are, because you are. And we'd like to finish with creating this wonderful rainbow. And this is something you are going to fill in and you are going to take into school next week because you're going to be proud of it. So we'd like you to create this however you want, be as creative as you want. We're not the best artists, are we, Rebecca? But try your best and create a rainbow, decorate it how you want. Maybe you want to throw some glitter on there. And we want you to answer, what are you good at? You're good at something.
What am I most happy? I am most happy when. What do you like doing? What makes you happy?
You like yourself when what's happening when you like yourself?
I'm proud of me when I'm doing what? When you're being a good friend, when you're being helpful at home, when you're going for a run and you've achieved, a different, you've run further than you've ever run before. Okay, why are you proud of yourself?
I'm special because, again, this could be because you're a good friend, because you're a great daughter, because you are kind to people, because you are great at something. Why are you special?
And I'm a good friend when and it might be linked to what we talked about earlier, you're a good listener. You can, you've got good empathy, you can understand people, and you're just caring. And all of those things show that you are a wonderful person. Okay, so again, pause the video, you've got that there, draw it out, copy it out however you like, make it your special, make it, linked to you. And we'd like you to be able to take that back to school next week and show your class and show your teachers. So what we'd like you to do is all of the notes and things that you've created today, keep them somewhere safe. And next week, when you go back to school, you won't necessarily be sharing all of it, but it'll be good to have those just to remind yourself what it is we've talked about, what we've learned, some of the techniques and tools that we can use in your own time, but just so you've got those so that your teachers can support you and ask you and help you along the way, so that your experiences can be you can understand and use those skills that you've learned. But thank you very much. We hope you've enjoyed today, and we hope to see you all again soon.
Thank you.